Storytelling is the world's oldest art form. From Rajasthani puppets to Greek mythology, storytelling is everywhere. That is because great stories transform people. We spend billions of dollars and years worth of time watching movies, reading books, telling stories, and listening to them. And the world's best storytellers use that to their advantage. So, what do they know that you don't? Stories are about emotion, about the roller coaster we experience when we go from one emotion to the next. That is what leads us to identify with the protagonist, to live the story through him. After all, people don't like to change for themselves. They like to experience a transformation through a hero on a journey. Stories attract people not only through the plot, but through a connection with the hero. Both the connection and the plot add to the story's effectiveness, but one without the other is weak. That is why great directors and great storytellers incorporate something called the Save the Cat scene. This is where the protagonist does something that represents that he is a nice person, and a connection with the protagonist is established for the audience. Great stories are about the silence before the storm, about the build up before the climax. Straightforward stories are boring, just like textbooks. People don't just want to get what they actually wanted, they want to be teased, they want the mystery to be built up over time, and they want to be made to work in order to get what they want. After all, there's no terror in the bang, only in the anticipation of it. Alfred Hitchcock. Great storytellers hook within 8 seconds, usually with something unusual, unexpected, or leading to conflict or action. This way, if you even introduce something that is completely irrelevant, the viewer will still be hooked. After all, what we can't get is exactly what we most want. Immerse the listener into the story before they even know what is happening. That immersion reflects the value of your story and your storytelling. Curiosity is at its strongest when we think we can figure something out but don't know it yet, when it is just out of our reach. That zone of maximum curiosity is where storytellers play. Hint to the brain that can learn something new and it will instantly be hooked. That is why great storytellers create fictional worlds, fictional events, fictional histories. There are 4 ways of involuntarily inducing curiosity in humans. 1. The posing of a question or presentation of a puzzle, like the question of whether a bunch of Marvel superheroes can travel back in time to try to challenge Thanos once again. 2. Exposure to a sequence of events with an anticipated but unknown resolution. Like when you realize that Thanos has all the Infinity Stones but you don't know what is going to happen about it yet. 3. The violation of expectations that trigger a search for an explanation. Like when you realize that Thanos has won and you wonder whether or not the Avengers will be able to bring back 50% of the population. 4. Knowledge of possession of information by someone else. This is basically what a secret is. There is something that you want to know that somebody else knows, so obviously it will induce curiosity inside of you. All this boils down to understanding. The brain is driven to create an understanding of the world, and if you hint to it that there could be something that it could understand that it does not yet, then it will be driven to try to understand it. You can also do that by creating an experience. Use props, the surroundings, the environment, anything that is around you to immerse the listener in a story. Make them feel the moments, the sensations, the emotions that the protagonists do through your description. That is why textbooks are boring. They tell you what you need to know rather than why you should know it. Interesting books can tell you what you need to know, but also corroborate it with stories, back it up with stories. The most important question when storytelling is why should the person keep listening to you? What are they waiting for? Usually, if they're not waiting for anything, the story is not impactful. So, what are the features of an impactful story? Impactful stories have an interaction of the inner and outer world. Not only is there conflicts going on outside of the protagonist, but it is leading them to change as a person. Impactful stories aim to transform the listener through 5 to 10-second moments. These are things that are so profound that they lead the listener to change their perspective on life. Think of what your 5-second moment could be and try to work back from it to build your story from there. Impactful stories string along a series of events through meaningful cause and effect relationships. A bad story goes, this happened, this happened, this happened. But a great story goes, this happened, but then this happened. Therefore, this happened. Impactful stories incorporate the meaningful connections between different events. Everything a good storyteller says moves the story forward and brings value to the listener, just like this video will for you. Bye bye.